stories. My name is Jbae, and we go over everything that's horror and everything that's gore about the nightlife industry. So today I wanted to start off with giving my condolences to the terrible, terrible lives lost at the GSR, I believe Monday morning. So it says here, Reno, Nevada, a gunman opened fire Monday outside the largest casino in Reno, Nevada, killing 3 people and wounding 3 others before police shot the suspect and arrested him. The suspect had no known connection to the victims. It was unclear if he was a guest or an employee at the GSR resort, one of Reno's most prominent venues that has hosted concerts, sporting events, and a campaign rally by President Donald Trump before the 2024 election. Near the California border and just northeast of Lake Tahoe, the town is a popular summer tourist destination. Police are still trying to determine a motive for the shooting. 2 victims were in critical condition while one was treated and released from the hospital, said Chris Crawford, the police chief of the neighboring town of Sparks, whose department is leading the investigation. The shooting occurred at 7:30 a.m. and the gunman walked up to the casino hotel's valet parking area, pulled out a handgun, pointed it at a group of people. His gun initially malfunctioned, but he quickly was able to get it to shoot multiple times before fleeing on foot through the parking lot, where he encountered an armed casino security guard. Crawford said the gunman opened fire on the guard, who returned fire as the shooter fled again. And then I believe that the shooter, when he was in the parking lot, ended up shooting at a person who was driving by and killing them. So, I mean, it's just disgusting and sad. I don't know what is going on in Reno, but the amount of people who are becoming more violent and more violent is very prominent. Though the resort is located in the city of Reno, Nance said Sparks Police would be leading the investigation due to her department's policy on officer-involved shootings. Ventura County, California, Supervisor Jeff Carell identified one of the victims killed in the shooting as Andrew Canepa, a co-owner of a restaurant in Newberry Park. Andrew was a kind soul, a dedicated business owner, and a loving father to his son. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family, friends, and the Side Street Cafe community during this incredibly difficult time. So, another thing that is just really heartbreaking is Andrew actually jumped up and helped during another mass shooting time with his restaurant, and it's just really sad that he's fallen victim to another mass shooting. So, yeah, I used to work for the GSR at the Lex nightclub. Luckily, their security jumped on that guy, but condolences to all of the people who are affected by this tragedy. This is just extremely sad and heartbreaking. So, on the other hand, we will start by doing our creepy facts. I have some weird instances and things that pissed me off at work. And then, no further ado, this episode is actually going to be a ghost town adventure. Woohoo! So let me go ahead and pull up my creepy facts. Okay, so this is actually a creepy story from Reddit. I thought this could fill up some more time today and also get you guys thinking. Okay, my 6-year-old daughter Jane has recently started to enjoy playing hide and seek. At first, I thought it was cute. Jane has always enjoyed games like this, so I didn't think much of it. I figured that it was something she had played at school and thought she'd be bored of it by the end of the week. Kids are always finding new ways to entertain themselves, so it wasn't unusual when she started asking to play. I thought it was something fun that we could do together, and I wanted to promote her creativity. It wouldn't take me long to find her anyway, as she was notorious for attempting to hide in plain sight. Jane really liked hide and seek, and never seemed to get weary of it. So for the next 2 months, it became sort of a routine. Aside from the longevity, it was nothing to be concerned about. That was until today, when I came home from work. I walked in through the garage and saw our nanny, Sue, frantic that she couldn't find Jane. Of course, this panicked me, so I asked Sue when she last saw Jane. She told me that Jane had wanted to play hide and seek like usual, so she turned her back and counted to 10 while Jane hid. When she turned around, Jane was gone. Sue said she looked under the couch, in the bedrooms, and under the beds, behind doors, and multiple other places. This went on for almost 30 minutes, and she still couldn't find her. Sue then told me that she had called out to Jane, telling her she had to come out from her hiding spot, but Jane never came out. So, thinking that Jane hadn't heard her, she continued to look and call her name. After an hour had passed, Sue began to panic. She ran throughout the house, yelling for Jane and telling her it wasn't funny anymore. No response. I even asked Sue if she had possibly heard movement or giggling, something to give away Jane's hiding spot, but she said no. At this point, Sue was in tears, profusely apologizing and practically gagging on her words. I felt awful that my daughter had done this. She had never misbehaved in this way, and she loved Sue too much to make her worry. So I gathered my composure and assured her that Jane had to be in the house. She's too short to unlock the doors to go outside, and told her we would look together. We must have looked for hours, in and under every place a child could hide or fit, when I finally remembered a spot that Sue would never think to look. It was Jane's closet, in the far back behind her clothes. In the bottom right corner, there was a little door that had once been used as a dumbwaiter. I forgot that it even existed, but I rushed to Sue and told her, gasping between words. We ran to Jane's room and frantically pulled the closet door open, almost taking it off of its hinges. I dropped to my knees, shoved a mound of clothes to the right, and there it was, right in front of us, was the door to the dumbwaiter. It was painted over with a coat of white paint, but you could still see the dark outline square in the wall. The silence between Sue and I was deafening. I knew we were both fearing the worst. I called out to Jane, told her that it was time to stop hiding now, but there was no response. I slowly reached for the handle, my heart beating so loud I could hear it in my ears, and slid the door open. Inside was Jane, but it was a horrifying discovery. Her body was contorted and mangled, her knees each bent at a 90-degree angle so her feet touched the top of the dumbwaiter. Her arms twisted grotesquely between them. Long hair fell around her face and body, only her eyes visible through the strands, and her fingernails were bleeding from digging them into the wood. Sue and I fell back in sync with each other, terrified, unable to grasp what we were witnessing. After a moment, Sue said that she must have been in shock, possibly from broken bones. So, she began to stand up to call an ambulance. It was then, when Sue moved, that Jane started to scream. It was a shrill, animalistic scream, like a deer that's been hit by a car and left to die. Despite this, Sue managed to stand up and find her cell phone to call an ambulance. It wasn't until she returned that the screaming stopped. I thought that maybe Jane had passed out from pain, so I slowly scooted my way towards her. I must have only moved a few inches when I saw her eyes lock on me, unblinking and glazed over. I called her name gently, but something inside of me told me not to go near her. I wanted to console her, but I was scared of her. I was scared of my own daughter. It must have been about 5 minutes before I heard the sound of the ambulance outside the house, flashes of red shining through the windows of Jane's room, and a wave of relief washed over me. I looked back over at Jane, but instead saw the door of the dumbwaiter closing and the top of Jane's head going down. I jumped towards it and managed to stop it in the last second. My hand between the door and the inside of the dumbwaiter, I yelled to Sue to go downstairs and to get the medics, when a sharp pain suddenly shot through my index finger. I screamed and pulled my hand away, a trail of blood following on the door. I then watched as the dumbwaiter door closed and could hear Jane giggling as she was being lowered down. But I had soon forgotten about that, as the agonizing pain in my finger quickly became unbearable. I brought my hand up slowly to where I could see it and unwrapped my other hand from it. I almost passed out from the sight. Half of my index finger had been reduced to a stub. It had been bitten off right at the joint. I felt the blood swelling up inside, throbbing against the skin. I then heard Sue come running in, alerting the medics down the hall to come quickly. I tried to tell her about Jane, to tell the medics to check the basement for her, but I could barely get my first word out before everything went dark. I don't remember much after that, only that I woke up in the hospital, which is where I am now. The police came and went about an hour ago. They questioned Sue and I separately, then told me that the only evidence they found was a broken window in the basement, my blood on the bedroom floor, and the other half of my finger in the dumbwaiter. No sign of Jane in the house or outside, even with the help of police dogs. So as of right now, she's been marked as a missing person. I could tell by their tone that they're not too hopeful of finding her. But I know she's out there somewhere. That simple thought alone terrifies me, and I can't stop myself from thinking that this is still a game of hide and seek for her. A bigger one, with more people to play. So if you see her, maybe in the woods or in your house somewhere, take my warning. Don't play hide and seek with her. I never want kids. Dude, what the frick? Did you know that you can bite through someone's finger like a carrot? That's fucking gross. Dude, I feel like they have all these books on parenting, but they never have anything to prepare you for like the scary stuff. Like when your kid is just standing straight up in their bed and just like being creepy as fuck. What am I gonna do? Return the kid. Return it. No takesy backsies. Thank you. Alright, next up we're gonna go over things that pissed me off at the strip club. Number 1, the AC on full blast while we are wearing floss as an outfit. Manager says, I didn't touch the AC. And I said, well, you better start touching it. Make love to it if you have to. My nipples are about to frostbite off, okay? It gets to a point where even customers are like, it's really cold in here. And I'm like, yeah, and you're wearing clothes. One of the young dancers, who's usually really good, is drunk and just tried to fight a customer because he said he's not allowed to get a dance because he has a girlfriend. And she was like, okay, will you buy me a drink? And he said, no, I have a girlfriend. So why are you in here if you have a girlfriend? You're already caught. Might as well make the most out of it, guy. I guess this isn't his first time being in here. But it's just like, why come to the strip? Just, ew. Customer says he likes reverse doggy. Is that a virgin giveaway? Does that mean I would be pegging him from the back? Wave off, doggy. I don't know. I was like, what's your favorite position? He's like, reverse doggy for sure. I was like, okay, bud. Okay. All right, couple came in and didn't tip the stage. So I went up to their table and asked if I could sit with them to get to know them. And they said, no, sorry, we're having an intimate conversation. Okay, maybe they just didn't like me. That's fine. Another dancer went up to them and they said the same thing. And she replies, you guys realize you could go to a regular bar to have an intimate conversation, right? I don't know what's the deal with these couples that keep coming in. And they're like the meanest people. Like, why do you want to pay $20 cover fee each? And then the drinks are like $10 to $15 a drink. So it's not just like, oh, this is a fun place to go. No. Like, you're paying top dollar for your experience. So why are you being mean to the dancers? Because you could get a $4 beer at the bar next door. Here's the last one. This one's fucking crazy, okay? but I also feel kind of bad. Couple came to the tip rail. Girl kept spanking my ass, but neither of them would tip. I bring my tip bucket around and say, "Would you like to add anything?" She proceeds to grab a book of matches and attempt to light my bucket of money on fire. I was really, really, really freaked out by this, as well as like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So I went up to the other dancers and I was like, "Be careful of this girl. She just tried to throw a match into my freaking money bucket." But I did find out that that girl is in fact slow. She's special needs, I guess. So I felt bad, but still don't light my money on fire. The guy she was with, I don't know, was like her older brother or something. It was a weird dynamic. I don't know if they were a couple. He ended up finally getting some money out so she could throw a couple dollars on the girls. But like, she was having a blast. She loves booties. Yeah. But yeah, so little PSA, if you are taking any of your special needs friends out to the strip club, which is totally awesome and totally okay, maybe tell them, don't touch the dancers unless you're gonna give them money, or unless you're gonna ask that that's okay. And don't try to throw a match in their bucket. I also later found out that one of the dancers does that nipple match trick where she puts a match on her nipple and lights it on fire, and her nipples are like flames. That's great. Good for you. All right. Next thing that we're going to talk about is our horror stories adventure. So, Walter and I went with a couple of friends. We were driving up to Salt Lake City, Utah, and on the way there, we stopped to like 30 ghost towns on the way. And I took some video of the entire thing, and I'm just telling you, it was the funnest trip, and I thought that everybody was having a great time. Of course, some drama happened, but you guys will just go ahead and see that. So let's go ahead and take a look, y'all. So in great horror fashion, I worked an entire shift before I ended up coming home and showering all of the bad decisions that I made that night off. Go to bed and wake up an hour later to get going on the road. We made our first stop at this beautiful little cafe, and you can pause and stop this here to read. But this was the old Middlegate station, and the aesthetic was just so cute and so fun. They had all kinds of artifacts and fun stuff to look at in the bar while we were waiting for them to bring us our food. This is what it looked like on the outside, pretty much in the middle of nowhere with a little motel on the side. So our burgers came out and they were fucking good. Literally best burger I've ever had, and that's saying a lot. They also had a little basketball court outside, so that was like super fun to try to burn off some calories till we made it to our next destination. This first ghost town is Broken Hills Mine. Definitely had some really, really cool artifacts, as well as huge bullet holes in the side of the wall. The mine shafts go down forever, and it was super fun throwing rocks down to hear how long it took for it to reach the bottom. This next spot was Quartz Mine Shaft. This one was super cool because there was all kinds of places to just kind of walk around and take a look. I believe only 2 guys ran the whole entire thing by themselves, so that was pretty badass. Headed to our next destination, we came upon this little, what looks to be a corral for horses or cows. The jackrabbits were huge, and Walter found this crazy bone. I guess Jake ended up finding a crazy bone too. So they picked him up, which is definitely probably not something you want to do because I feel like that is bad luck. And to our bad luck, we got a hole in our tire. Well, the good news is we have a spare tire.
And then the backup plan is...
Bad news is the previous owner put these little locks on every tire and didn't give the lock to the auto warehouse. So we are in the middle of nowhere, dude. Fucking A. Oh. So at this point, we literally didn't know what to do because we could not get that 1-star cap off. The boys seemed a little defeated, and we were in the middle of nowhere, so why not just take some cute pictures and wait for AAA to show up. This was Travis. He was fucking awesome. He had a special trick that gets off the tire locks even if you don't have the key, which is why he is the man. Put the flat on the back and we are on the way. So I have a feeling I need to put these bones back because the minute we put them in the car, we got a flat tire. Now, because we lost 2 hours of daylight, we have to figure out where we are going to camp and if we're going to be able to camp somewhere. Tune in next week to see what we had to do. Alrighty, so we ended up getting a flat tire, and obviously we have 2 men with us, so it's like not a big deal. And they had to drag everything out and get all the stuff to replace the tire, which I had an actual spare tire, like not like a spare, but like an actual tire attached to the back, like most Jeeps and Broncos and FJs have, right? And we're going to take the hubcaps off. And guess what? Either the previous owner or the dealership put tire locks on all 5 tires. So all 4 that were on the car, including the 5th that was the replacement. And what that does is it prevents people from stealing your tires off of your car, right? So you have to have a specific key for that. And there was no key. And we were in the middle of nowhere. And as you can see from the video, I mean, at first me and Alex were like, okay, well, we'll just sit down and eat some watermelon and let the boys change the tire because they are man. Yeah, we'll just have to find out on next week's episode how we figured out our problem. But anyways, guys, that trip was so fun. We obviously made it back, but there's a lot more for me to show you guys. I'm really excited to show you the rest of the adventures, but there's a lot of editing and I'm just splitting it up, so yay-haw. But anyways, Hot August nights are coming up. Everybody stay safe out there. Please, please, please tip your bartenders. Don't touch your strippers. And don't forget to give the tire key for your tire lock to the dealership when you sell your car to them. Okay, stay hoary, stay gory. Love you. Bye.